2.
Too much, dude. Let's not blow the bike up. Anytime you see a kid who wants to rev your bike, you gotta say yes. Just be prepared. You might have to break their fingers because they get rev happy and try and blow the motor. But yes, 10 whole years. Crazy to think how fast time flies, and to think some of you guys watching this are probably 10 more years ahead, or if not more, and I'm probably a small fry in the game of the realm of riding, and you guys have so much more to offer. And there's some of you guys that watch my videos that have probably been riding like a week, some of you a year. It's just one of those things. We're all going to be at different stages in life, and we're always looking for guidance, because one of the first things I learned very quickly is that there's never enough learning you can do, and there's always something else to learn. And the more I ride and the more you ride, you probably realize that there's an endless opportunity to become a better rider. And that's quite a funny thing, because they say 10,000 hours or 10 years of doing something, you're pretty much an expert. And I can tell you now, I'm still prone to making many mistakes. I'm just human. And I've learned along the way, especially now putting myself out on the interwebs for you guys to watch. There's always someone out there to criticize, someone always knows better. And at the end of the day, none of us are perfect. And I've learned over these 10 years that I'm always going to have bad habits and things I need to work on. Some of you guys always tell me when I'm doing these videos to keep my hands on the handlebars and stop being so animated and think about every scenario that could go wrong. And you are right. It's just a bad trait I have, and I'm really focusing more and more on holding on to these two handlebars right here. Look, we all make mistakes. We're all human. And I've also learned, the more I ride, riding is a lot more dangerous than I first anticipated. Not that I'm scared of riding, I'm far more confident as each day goes by. But the more I've ridden, the more I've realized there's so many times when things could go wrong. And you go through those experiences, you have near misses. With experience, you pick up certain things that could go wrong very quickly, whether it be road conditions, other riders, drivers, yourself, tire conditions. You learn that with experience. Because believe you and me, everybody out there with a Ninja R3 will be in a forum somewhere giving expert tips, but they've only been riding for 3 months. But after 3 years, you have a bit of a different outlook, and you can start actually feeling differences on things like tires, suspension, brakes, feel, road feedback, things like that. And that's just things you gain with experience. So I guess all in all, I've learnt to respect the game a lot more. Riding at first, when I first wanted a bike and got one, was all about fun. Yes, I was nervous. Everybody is when they first start riding. But I was also just optimistic to just keep riding and then talk about bigger bikes. Then I wanted a bigger bike. And that was typical beginner mistakes. And funnily enough, the more I ride, the more I want to downsize, to the point where I've ridden Hayabusas, I've ridden 1000cc bikes. I owned an MT-09 up until last week. That's now gone. Now I'm on a KTM 690 single. And guess what's next? I'm thinking of downsizing even more. And a lot of you guys that are newer to riding will be thinking, what the hell am I talking about? But when you get to like those 400cc marks, something fun about having to rip those gears and really use your skill to keep up with people on faster bikes. It's just another thing I've learned in this lovely game of being a motorcycle rider, I guess. Okay. The hell has happened here? Of all the things, you hit the traffic truck, which is going to delay them putting the traffic away. Well, crazy bus crashes aside, it's just been such an awesome journey, and I just don't ever want it to stop. I've really come to realize how much riding does for the mental health. There's a reason a lot of people talk about it, and I know a lot of people bang on about mental health and riding on YouTube. I think it's a very easy angle to take if you're short of ideas and you just want to appeal to a broader spectrum of people. But the reality is, there's truth to be said in that statement, that riding really will help your mental health. I mean, that's not a doctor's recommendation from me, so don't take anything I say with gospel. But for the most part, if you're of stable sound of mind and you're having a bad day, very rarely will you come back after a ride and feel as sad as when you left the house. I don't know, man, as long as you can flick the button, twist the key and it turns on, they're like your best friend. They never let you down, unless of course you have a Ducati or an old Triumph. Then in that case, well, I don't know, maybe you spend less time riding than the rest of us. Well, I'll tell you one thing I have noticed over the years as well, is that my ego has very much calmed down in the realms of riding. And what I mean by that is, it must be a newer rider thing, especially compensating for something. We get too caught up in ego of who's a better rider, who's got the best bike, whether or not your bike is faster than someone else. And if you are that type of person, have a big look in the mirror, because at the end of the day, you're just a person behind the helmet, and as much as you feel cool on it, no one's looking at you in particular. They're pretty much just looking at the bike, if anything. So if you are one of those people, don't be a dickhead. That's the best way to say it. Don't be a helmet. But at the end of the day, there's people out there, myself included, who have very much embraced the fact that sometimes a bike that might not be as cool at first glance actually makes you feel more cool in the long run. Tell you what, the temperature really does drop when you get down into these twisty gorge areas. There's nothing around us, by the way. We are in the Waitakere Ranges. We've been here a lot on this channel if you watch the videos. Nice riding roads, but as you can see, we just keep going down in elevation, and the temperature and wind really does drop and it feels very icy. Well, this is more like it. It's just nice. Even after 10 years of riding, there's something magical about being on a bike. If you guys ride yourselves, which I assume you do watching this, you know what I mean. Yeah, I definitely feel connected and at one with the bike nowadays compared to back a good few years ago. You're just so much more comfortable with how everything works ergonomically, how the brakes work, how everything's going to react. Whee! Oh, that gave me that fun fair, you know, when you go on a roller coaster ride? It made my nuts go up into my throat. Oh, it's so much fun. I love riding. So much. So let's hear it from other people in the comments. If you've been riding longer than me, another 10 years or so, I want to know what it's like. What have I got to look forward to? Enlighten me, as you guys are the noble road warriors that we all want to be one day. And those of you that have been riding a lot less, maybe you're in your first year or two, drop some questions in the comments. I love the engagement, I really do. I enjoy talking to you guys back and forth. It really does make doing all these videos way worth it. And sometimes it's quite nice to pass on some knowledge. And if you know me, you'll know that if you look back at my comments history, I will answer everybody as best as possible, and I will never lie. If I don't know something, I'll just say, I don't really know. Because as always, I'm no expert in this game. And with experience, I've realized I am not the best rider. I'm not going to be the best rider. I am just me, and you are just you. So my big takeaway after almost a decade of riding is not going to be some sort of expert tip or a skill of some sort, although some might see it as that. It is that it does ring true. You really do need to ride your own ride. Take things at your own pace. There's a lot of information on the internet, mine included. And I've said it a million times, I'm no expert, and nor are many people you see on the internet. So just learn to ride your own ride. Enjoy the journey that is motorcycling. And if you want to see more behind the scenes content, head over to my Instagram at the Throttle Tube, and I'll be posting more stuff over there. Now that we have this fancy camera, and I will be bringing you guys higher quality videos as time goes. But just thank you for rocking with me. I've been very busy lately, a lot is going on. Maybe I'll address that in a future video. But for now, let me get home before it gets too cold, and you guys stay safe. See you guys in the next video. Thank you guys as always for watching, and peace.